Alright, so let's get going with today's viewer levels. We will leave the queue open for a little bit longer. Since we just have a few selections to start with at the moment, it will be a shorter queue than usual. I'll be cutting off faster than usual, just because we are starting on this content a little later today. Oh, and it's too bad Merlin's not here anymore. Well, too bad, because I'm going to be playing one of your levels anyway. Merlin, it's been a while since I've caught up on anything from you. Super World was last updated October, so that's probably not it. I know you've been working on Super World number 2 for quite some time. So do let me know if there's something specific that you want tested. The last one I played from you was Giant Tree Maze. And we missed a lot before that. We did start the World 5 level, I suppose. I guess it would make sense then to continue with the World 5 sequence and take a look at Green Swamp Wasteland. And Merlin, of course, as usual, if you're able to stay longer, you can add some more. But for now, 5-3 Green Swamp Wasteland, what are you doing in my swamp? Let's find out. Okay. Well, this is jumpable. No, it's not, because it came out of poison, and because it was green, and the poison is also green, I didn't think about that before just deciding to have fugu for dinner. It's interesting, too, because I'm clearly still in jump mode, so to speak, that I see this block here and I think, ooh, clearly I should jump in that location. Nope. Also, notice that the skulls on this pipe, probably not indicative of any kind of secret. I'm also in boss mode, it seems, because I'm looking at the skulls and thinking, aha, boss pipe right at the beginning of the level. Not so. Nice use of the overlap here to basically block off the spice block and ensure that it's usually, rather that it's here only used for aesthetics. It's always kind of a treat to see what Merlin comes up with for some decoration. Now that we have the boot, of course, we can step on poison fish all we want. And yes, as usual, we'll be looking out for the Merlin M, which tends to be the signature secret. Whoops. Oh, look at that boot. That was threatening. That was made to look like the plant in the boot as well. Oh, because of the stack with the Goomba. Yeah, of course. Yeah, let's watch our timing here. Yeah, pretty much just a straight up, really pretty traditional level. We don't get these too often nowadays, and so always nice to see one, although, as you can see, we're going to lose the boot if we're going for the hidden M, which we are, of course, going to find. Not only is it grass, Male 64, it's snake grass. Unfortunately, we're going to totally blow it right after that. That's okay. Back in the boot we go. We'll not smell quite so many roses this time. Oh. Interesting that we displaced this boot, but unfortunately it was displaced in such a way that the plant landed directly on top of it and made it inaccessible, so we did not get to trade boot for boot that time. And not that time either. So yeah, if you don't already have a boot, you can't do much to grab a boot off these guys. Whoops. Didn't remember that he would just tail me as well. Okay. Up we go. And we can use these as platforms, what we like. This was where we had dropped a boot earlier. We had seen that already, so let's come back and this way. There's not a boot immediately available afterwards. So if I had survived getting to Secret M and came back here, I could have come up here and grabbed another boot just fine. No secrets accessible down below, unfortunately. Trade offer Piranha Plant for boot? I don't know. I think you need to add maybe a couple of cities and a few gold per turn on top of that. Maybe trade me the secret of nuclear fusion, or whatever is next on the tech tree. Yeah, we tend to check pipes, but most of these pipes are aesthetic. And through here we go. Let's check this. Oh, no. We'll check it again, of course, but I'll check it a little more carefully. This time we will monitor my facing direction as I try to climb the pipe. Coins over here aren't going to get me within range of anything. I need to remember not to jump on fish. Here we go, 30 coin. Now, dropping out of here safely will be important, especially because I'm not within camera view of my landing zone. Oops. Here's the boot. And up we go. It's a mean plant now, we've seen much meaner. Not really an issue. Whoops. It's mostly the approach on the camera that's the issue there. I mean, the vine climb itself and the use of requiring a certain facing direction in the SMP1 vine climb is totally expected and fair. Okay, so the plant just dunks itself in a poison on that side. And yeah, as you can see, these markers consistently just tell you how high the fish are going to go. They are not an invitation to jump unless you already have the boots. Nothing to climb up here. Okay. Sure, we'll stop you too. I wonder. Nope, nothing. By the looks of it, anyway. You do not want to step on that fish because you would get bumped towards the piranha plant, I'm pretty sure. Now, nice to actually use that as jump markers so we can get the 1-up for retaining the boot up to this point. Nothing up here, of course, because that's the ceiling. But now, Stiletto looks interesting. I bet we can break some stuff with it. Maybe it'll give me something interesting, but nope, everything here is blocked off. However, I can probably take this further. Nope, because the snake blocks are not accessible. I don't think there's anything I can really break other than that, then. Yeah, because unless you can get boot up here, in which case that's just a semi-solid, so never mind. However, it would get you whatever is down here. I will check that, of course, before I touch the flag. This is absolutely a little secret. And, of course, I'm going to check all this. Alright, nicely done as always, Merlin. I don't know if we missed any secrets. I got the 30 and 50 coin. I don't actually remember if I got a 10 coin early on. But we'll take the GG. And we'll get Subnix going for L64's code. And yeah, Merlin, if you can stay for a continuation, you can always submit some more, since there's so much that we haven't covered. Okay, Mail64, what have we not played? We've played all of this stuff. Maybe if we... Oh, we never played Underground Racetrack, although that is a multiplayer versus level. I don't know how doable solo it is. We've also never played Larry's Molten Koopa Factory. Build Tower, March of the Goombas. Would you rather I start... I bet I must have played something like this. I've got a marker on this. I bet I must have played it long before I was ever a streamer, given this was 2019. Yeah, anything is fine. I don't know if you have a specific recommendation. We might as well go through some of the newer stuff and just go in reverse chronological order. I would assume that maybe you're prouder of the newer levels, but I don't know if that's true for everybody, so... Factory is what you suggest. This is from 2020. The Source of the Scourge. Larry's Molten Koopa Factory. Many paths lead to the boss, but the hard way. Well, here we do everything the hard way, but not necessarily on the first run, so let's see how it goes. Okay. This is almost certainly worthwhile, but... So the mecha is going to be available as a potential platform, but I would need to make it available to me first, wouldn't I? I bet it can get me above... Yeah, you see there's definitely something up top, but... I would need to position this missile a lot better first, before I can approach that. Or maybe once I've spawned it, I need to do something else to get up to that path. Open it up from the top side. Like riding the missile using SMB2. That would make a lot of sense. Secret. Except I have nothing to sit on here, so it looks like the exit to a secret. There's a super secret boss that is stupidly hard. Okay, good to know. So it looks like the door to the left is exit only then, if I understand it correctly. I don't see what can get me up there, because I don't really have anything I can place here, unless perhaps I pick up something flying and throw it into place, but... Yeah, I wonder if that is accessible. We'll have to find out. Oh, that's unfortunate. I was hoping to get a high jump off one of these guys, but they're not going to be very cooperative, and whoa, we're just going to take a tumble. I do want to explore that path again, though, so we'll go straight for the SMP2 mushroom and try to make it back up top. And yeah, this is just a spawning range thing. Oh, you can actually get up here without SMP2, which is interesting. I'm glad we proved it was doable. Does mean we'll need to get our bounces straight from here, though. And SMP2 will present itself anyway. Nope. Well, that's why it's a factory. Let's tap that. I kind of wonder if I can activate the on-off from this side. We can't hold items in this style, though, so... You would need to do it by way of activating the missiles. So you can actually theoretically stand here and get a missile within range of the on-off switch and have it toggle. And come over here on this side with the on-off in the opposite state, but no reason to do that, as we can see, because the next on-off relevant thing you encounter is right next to another easily hittable switch anyway. Losing the progressive power-up, I'm afraid. Thank you so much for the follow. Well, we might as well explore a path down here then, in the meantime. This time without SMB2 at my disposal. Ding dong, that's interesting. I don't know about that. I don't see any particular reason why I would want to go there right away. We might go back to do it. Green Chain Chomp, the queue is open. It's very short right now because we just opened it up. It will not be open for that long today since we'll be running a comparatively short queue, but... Oh, whoops. Fortunately, that does it for progressive power-up over here. And notice how the cannon explosion also takes out the 50 coin. Because that's what happens with coins. Sure, let's see what's up here. Oh, whoops, you do need to hit the mecha for that, though. No, you don't. And yeah, Green Chain Chomp, thank you for Goomba Paradise 1-1. Okay, so that's the door that loops you back up here. And since we do not have the mushroom, but we are going to get SMB2 regardless, okay. Nope. Keep thinking I'll go up top, and I've seen before that it gets me access to a couple of 1-ups. POWs are located in such a fashion that if the missiles hit them, it would activate, but nothing else is going to reach them, I don't think. Alright, here we go. Obviously, we'll go for that pipe. Whoa, no. I didn't think about the rising and falling lava level there because it looked static. It's actually very subtle. It goes up and down slowly by about 3 tiles, maybe? So you actually need to wait safely and patiently for the mecha to head that way, perhaps. We'll keep that in mind for later. Yeah, 50 coin looks like it's not accessible yet until we come out of some other path. But we'll just come back here right away and see what we can do. Interestingly enough, there's no way this is a lock, is it? Because it totally looks like it's a lock, doesn't it? It totally is a lock. Okay. I mean, it looks like that, but it's one of those moments where in a more recent level you would expect to be protected by invisible blocks or something else, or activate some other mechanism to get you out of there. That's okay. It's not like we're trapped behind a checkpoint, so that was worth trying once. Yeah, because I don't see why else you would have the 50 coin there unless you were meant to just touch it with a jump that goes halfway. Like with a high jump off SMB2, perhaps you were thinking? Where you would be able to reach without actually going over the platform. That's okay. We'll not worry about that too much. It's a nearly 2-year-old level at this point. And back then, I was not breaking your stuff on a regular basis, so... Let's get up here, let's do the same thing. If I do hit checkpoint here, we can easily get back to this pipe right away, so I see no reason not to do that. Okay, I feel like we do need to walk the mecha over when the lava level goes down, though, so we'll just get it to come over. Up we go. And in the pipe. You get it by tossing a shell or something in there. I think the idea is that you just high jump as SMB2 and poke your head into the coin. particularly if a missile had already dropped it to the floor, although that doesn't make too much of a difference distance-wise. Looks like this is going to get everything going. I wonder if you double tap the switch once these things are out and on the run. That would actually just protect you from anything falling, right? So the smart thing to do would be to double tap the switch. Like, you tap the switch, you let the platforms go over here, and then you just block off all the pipes right away. I think you can do that quite easily. There are, of course, power-ups that are available for you. That's definitely the way to do it, I'd say. You got power-ups coming down the pipe all over the place. Now, we need to go over here for a moment, and we'll just see how the green mechas, when they're not tracking your position, just kind of waddle back and forth in place. And so on the next cycle over, you can then lead them over to the next position. So I'll try to show you what I'm talking about, if you think this is the unreasonable boss. Because let's say you get everything to come off track, and then you just hit this. What's stopping you from just grabbing the cursed key directly here, like that? Nothing. You just need to deal with Phanto. And that's okay. You don't get power-ups either, but then I have the Fire Flower waiting for me. As we see, though, just dodging Phanto alone is already going to be a slight issue. So, not so unreasonable after all, as we see. And where's my warp zone? Down there, okay. Well, so much for taking advantage of the star that will get me across all of this stuff. Yeah, I guess you can use the on-off switch to kill things or block beams, but mostly kill things. And yeah, we'll just nuke him. I mean, I don't know if you cleared the unreasonable boss the same way, but to me, I look at that almost like a miniature, not exactly puzzle, but maybe a puzzle-like interaction where I think, okay, how do I make this manageable? Well, pretty easy. I just hit the switch. It was the obvious thing to do. I would have done it on the first try if I could have. I just didn't aim very well, so. Mail64, as always, you're welcome to show me this again if you want to see any alternate paths, but we have quite a lot of older levels to do as well, so I'll leave that up to you for the next time you submit. So give that a win. Let's move on. Ziggsy is here. Ziggsy has given me this. Alright, Ziggsy, we previously did these. I seem to be missing this 10-second one, so we could do this one. It's quick enough that we might even have time for more by you later on. So we might as well get this one out of the way and take another box. Kaizo Light, 10 seconds. Yeah, you throw... You have to read pretty quickly. I remember that being the case with the 30-second level as well. Seems like the direction of the bounce doesn't matter too much when it comes to how you kick the Koopa. You just need to land at all. Four seconds over here, and what have we got? Okay, that's it. Yeah, reasonable actually if you just follow the flow. I hesitated a bit near the end, as you can see by the milliseconds off the record. Thank you for the GG. Yeah, the Z threw me off for a moment because there is a chain chomp that was in that location that I thought was probably the stomp target, but no, it blows up quickly and you just need to follow the flow and go. So, and then yeah, Zigzy, you're quite welcome to submit more once I clear you from the queue. It's a short queue today, so we'll just keep rotating through people. Awesome lamp. Continue with the Super World? Yeah, we'll do that. Super World rules, as always, apply. We'll tag in as many levels as we can within the first 15 minutes or so, and last time we cleared all of World 1. So, let's do it. Or rather... Ah yes, we actually cleared a good chunk of World 2 as well, so... Continue with this level. The submerged cave. Right, because a lot of this was part of the old Super World that I had played previously, as you were saying. So I may have done this one a long time ago. No problem though, we'll get back on track and eventually get to some of the newer content. Super Mario World underwater, as always, is actually very pretty if you know how to use it. So lots of little aesthetic touches here, like the semi-solid down here with the slopes. It's almost too bad that people are so averse to both making and playing underwater levels. They're actually a good fit for very aesthetically oriented traditional experiences in some ways. I feel like there are a lot of underwater mechanics that are certainly underused as well. Although a lot of them just translate to low gravity, I suppose. Anyway, that was pretty quick and simple. We'll just get rained on at the very end. And we'll keep going. We could probably get most of World 3 done as well at this current pace. Alright, let's do this. And we could have just gone under him, of course, but instead we're going to break this open, access to 10 coin. Because that's what we do. That's also what we do. I think the ceiling is probably not accessible, is it? It's not. Yes, it is. Because this is built in a half screen. That's okay, that looks like it's more or less intended to be open. This is a down thwomp though, right? Yeah. Would have known if it were a side thwomp. And yeah, when you don't want me to go up, you do in fact have a ceiling, so... The open ceiling earlier did look like it was planned. Whoops. That's okay, joke's on you, I've got the propeller. Not that the propeller will do much for me on this half-screen level. Except perhaps give me a bonus from time to time. We'll get crushed immediately afterwards. Grab another propeller. Oops, there we go. Just a little bit of waiting here and there. And we could actually just go directly over swamp in circumstances like those, but no, that's a bad idea. We do in fact want to sneak under each of those. Alright, now we know. Also, if I go backwards... not much of a reason to, but... might as well grab the power up. And yeah, Green Chain Chomp, it's quite a fun set. Oops. Let's just grab that. Sort of interesting that today's been this mostly traditional day when it comes to people submitting to the stream. That tends to be unusual in spite of the fact that we've had a lot of regulars submit so far. Usually not this traditional heavy, but it's kind of a nice change. It's sort of odd that traditional levels are both highly coveted and also underappreciated. Now, let's head over here. Okay, let's just go fast. Not as successful as it could have been, but we'll grab the flower there instead. And here we need to not get hit by either the stun lock or the flame, but mostly the stun lock is the issue. Nice little height restriction here on a simple Morton fight, as well as plenty of regularity to the platforms for the fire to travel. I always forget to account for the wings with this guy. Yeah, the kind of lack of symmetry here, it's almost like it's precisely designed to throw you off when it comes to the fire pattern. Yeah, Detroit Void, I don't know why the code is failing. Do try that again, or try an alternate maker or level code that you have that points to your profile if you would like. I think sometimes Warp World is choking on maker codes, and that might be the issue today if you're sending a maker profile. I will make sure you get in the queue, though. I should really switch to the other viewer level bot at some point, but it's one of many technical things on a stream I've been putting off. But yeah, I think it failed on, maybe it was Mail64's maker code earlier as well. So. Merlin, you said you kind of wish there was more appreciation for decoration in the community. Yeah, I think a big part of the problem, as I've said often on this stream before, is that a lot of the people who do appreciate that kind of thing would have been alienated by the changes from Maker 1 to Maker 2, particularly the loss of the amiibo costumes. I think much more of the audience would be receptive to aesthetic considerations if this were still a more aesthetically flexible game to begin with, because it would have retained that part of the audience much more successfully than it has. Both as makers and players. Whoops. Oh, watch that early. And looks like we can go over if we really wanted, but I won't be able to do it. So we'll go through here instead. And cycle through. This is one of the few instances of clear pipes being used the way they are actually used in 3D World, in many cases. Except, of course, in 3D World, you couldn't just have everything be invincible and non-colliding inside the pipe. Often, the challenge was to navigate through the pipes without running into spikes or fire or whatever else. Whoops. Oh, why did my spin jump fail there? I think I was just slow on the button. But yeah, Detroit Void, if you're still here, you're welcome to try another code. Hopefully the bot will not fail so much. We can spin jump on top of these, I think. They're a bit of a long reach, though. Yeah, I don't know why the bot isn't taking that. If you have a valid code, just try to... if you can select a level on your profile and then try to replace it or something. Yeah, find something that works. I'll make sure you're in the proper place in the queue, because I guess the bot is just kind of choking on that with whatever old database it's using. Try your maker code if that's a level code that is not functioning. We'll get it working somehow. Didn't work on someone else's stream. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, but I'll check your code manually later on. Well, I'm just trying to think of a way that I can sort of keep your place in the queue. Yes. So you are supposed to use the spike balls. Ah, okay, because if it rolls into this trampoline from the side, it actually shatters, which is the way 3D World works. I think it might be true of the other styles as well, that this is just read as a block. It's not obvious that it would just slam into this instead of really continuing. I'm not sure, because I feel like in the other styles it should roll straight through if it's an upward spring. And so it's just a 3D World collision that caught me out there, perhaps. I can never remember these things on the fly when I'm in the middle of playing. Oops. And, oh, here's a little surprise ending that nearly caught me. I was expecting to fall on top of the flag, and that did not happen. So yeah, Detroit Void will get through the people up to Zigzee, and if you're still here at that point, I'll try to remember to call you in. Because it seemed like you were here when Zigzee was the last one in queue. Okay, we'll do the level on this side, obviously. This will be the last one we add before we proceed to the next submission. Given how we normally do Super Worlds, we'll just do this last one. And then we'll proceed to the next one. The next maker. Alright. Koopas with guns. Something very familiar from Maker 1 as well. This is we're all over the place. And yeah, Warp World is just deciding to choke on me today, for whatever reason. I think it had some kind of internal database reset or something, where it was pulling people's old maker names as well, and other outdated information. Whoa, shot in the face by this guy. Right. Over here. Yeah, definitely caught off guard by the red cannonballs from time to time. We'll just need to be extra cautious. Also, of course, we're checking this guy only to get pushed by the cannon. Interestingly enough, the cannon pushed me because it made contact with Super Mario before. This was an issue. I don't know if there's anything to jump on towards the left. It doesn't look like it. And yeah, Detroit Void, there is another very popular bot, which is viewerlevels.com, which a lot of people have switched to because it's has some slightly more powerful or dynamic queuing management features. I think it does tend to work more reliably, but... Oh, there is something up top. If you look at that vine, it looks like we'll need to go up the tall cannonball to happen, or perhaps enter from this side. Oh no, that just touches the ceiling, there's nothing up there. It's just decoration by the looks of it. Yeah. Alright, so that doesn't actually go somewhere. Totally looks like a secret from a distance though. And yeah, see me in about 10 minutes. Yeah, we're likely to still be playing the levels ahead of you at that point, so absolutely no hurry. And that is one bodybuilder Koopa. Well, I mean, he's been doing a lot of lifting. Okay, we'll cut off for now. We'll, of course, continue with Super World if you submit again. Awesome lamp, so let's take off for now and let's get into the next mission. Glad we got a set out of the way, even if we didn't get all the way through that world. It's going to be Merlin again this time. And looking at the current list, yeah, afterwards it's going to be Green Chain Chomp, then Zigzy. And Meal64, I gave you the sub-skip earlier. Usually, I only activate that once unless there are a whole bunch of subscribers in queue, so I hope you're okay with... oh, actually, no, I thought you were in the queue, but maybe that code earlier failed. That's okay. Merlin will just go with yours then. I believe 5C is probably 5 Castle, isn't it? Unless it's 5 Tower, that's supposed to come first. I guess if it's something like the Fortress Towers in Super Mario 3, Tower should be it. No, defeat Wendy, and then, let's see. Do you have a preference, Merlin, between 5C and 5 Tower in terms of what should be next? This looks like a castle as well. Let's go with this one, 5 Tower. As you suggested. Okay. This looks like it's supposed to completely activate. As we expected. This vine looks totally reachable. Oh, lava's going up, and it's going up and up. I thought it was going to go down and give me some room, but apparently not. I'm totally going to check the vine on the left, though. Once I'm tall, I should be able to hit it. Hang on. Oh, this is going to be tight. There we go. There we are. Is this the letter M? I think it just looks like a... Oh yes it is, because we revealed the vines. That is the letter M. And back we go. To the beginning, and all the bombs collapse. This time it will blow up the bottom as well. So the lava keeps on going up and up. There is a little bit of time pressure. Or is there? Well, there's no spin jump here, and there's nothing else that I'm activating. Ah, there we go. Okay, so it's something timed by lava. So lava does need to go up to a certain level to get the vine spawning. Probably with bombs blowing up something that would then activate a note block. It sounded like it was the case. Whoops. So if you get there ahead of time, there's a little bit of waiting, but nothing too severe. Yeah, you see the notes and the bombs down below. The lava has to come up high enough that the bombs activate. Once the bombs activate, you have the muncher drop on the note blocks. Note blocks are pressed against ground and the vines spawn upwards. This column on the right looks like it's supposed to blow up, and that's the case. Oh, it looks like we have some potential flight here. Hang on, I do want to not hit up so I can jump up here properly. It totally looks like the top is open for flight, but I don't know if I can build enough PSP to do that. We'll have to try that out a few times. Oh, both of these spawn mushrooms. Anyway, we'll just wait here again. And wait, and wait. There we go. And through. Okay, a little bit of waiting. Because it doesn't seem like I can really get over to the munchers. That side. You know, I bet we can go for a bit of a run here. No, you're actually a little too tall to get through that safely. I was wondering about that, whether running animation would be able to get through just fine. It looked like it because I was able to just walk under the plants, so I think it's just a fire in the middle there that was catching me out. Stream is lagging a little bit. Okay, good to know. I mean, it's bad, but it's good to know that that's happening. Hopefully, the level still looks reasonable. I'm keeping an eye on it to see if the disruption is going to continue. Yeah, it's too bad that my network is so much worse here than at my usual streaming location. Nope, not enough room to do that, unfortunately. Yeah, because I was hoping... Oops, I do all these accidental up inputs all the time. I was hoping to fly up here, because it looks open, and it looks open for a reason. But it is surrounded by ground blocks on either side, so maybe the ceiling isn't as open as I think. We'll just try to not do that and just take the leap forward this time then, because it doesn't look like I am able to get some flight going, even though it looked like there was enough room. You started to take off on the bottom. Worth a try, anyhow. Alright, let's go like this. Yeah, not quite enough room to build a P-meter. I know, I had to whip this guy. Quite manage it. Interesting that you have an on-off activation that takes that out. Yeah, it looked like you just had ground blocks blocking everything off on the ceiling, so... Let's hit checkpoint. I see that some of those P-blocks are just meant to be kind of like the equivalent of dangling vines, only they match the yellow of the mushroom platforms. Looks like that might be flyable, but I can't quite tell. Looks like I can also potentially whip the Wiggler and lose access to the on-off switch. Yeah. Probably should have let that lower itself before doing anything too crazy. This looks like it's another case of allowing the bomb column to do its own collapse, so I do have to wait here. That's very instant, though. That's a very snappy setup. The sound effect certainly adds to it. Yeah, where you get one bomb detonation that is timed to lava making contact, and everything just blows up right away. Very satisfying snap. We're going to get way out of schedule here, though. It looks of it. Except you have to go back down again, so you can't get too complacent about the lava level. It will have to eventually reach this bottom bomb, though. And welcome back, Detroit Void. Now that's an interesting Wendy fight. Eradicating a few of these wigglers with her shell along the way, which makes it maybe a little bit riskier to hit her. But yeah, as you can see, we did require Wendy to still be alive in order to jump up here, otherwise there would be no way to get up to the key door. Since I bopped her in such a way that she took out everything on the right side, let's stand away from the bomb for just a moment. So I think it is possible to get that Wendy fight to an unwinnable state if she's knocking out precisely the wrong kind of wiggler, but it certainly looks very pretty as far as Wendy rooms go. Kavik, welcome. Kavik, we played through all of the GDQ levels on stream at the beginning of this stream. You know, just in case you wanted to go over to VOD and see me somewhat apologetically excuse myself for accusing you of an SD lock when none existed. And hope you've been doing well. Very happy to see your level get such a good showing on the GDQ stream the other day. And Merlin, thanks for that one. Green Chain Chomp, thank you for waiting so patiently. Let's pull up this one here. And yeah, Kavik, we were definitely talking about possible skips and shortcuts on your level when I was playing through it. I didn't actually demonstrate any of them, but there was definitely some discussion to be had. Because it seemed like a lot of different skips were available for people who wanted to hunt for that record, which I currently believe is sitting at around 40 seconds, which is crazy. Anyway, Green Chain Chomp, Goomba Paradise 1-1. The Mario Gang has vowed not to kill again. 2 checkpoints, and yes, you need the red coins. Okay, here we go. Yeah, and hopefully my footage of your level was okay, because I had a lot of lag spikes earlier in this stream, which may have affected some of the footage. Because my network has not been kind to me today. Okay, so yeah, Muncher is going to just immediately punch that pipe. We need to be careful with that. It didn't look like that would overlap. Oh yeah, no, because this is an entity-based thing, where if you... The Mario Gang vows not to kill again. You have to be a pacifist in this level, otherwise you get into big trouble with releasing the entity limit and allowing the Muncher to come out. That's what's happening. And it also prevents you from going through this pipe, so it does lock you, I think. So it is a pacifist to Goomba Paradise, and you have to understand that from the description, or just from experience. And otherwise you run into big trouble. So, it's Goomba Paradise because you're not allowed to kill any of these poor innocent creatures who have never done any harm to anyone. So far as we know. Very tempting to bounce on top of them as well, but you have to avoid that temptation and just go straight over. There we go. And interesting how this gate is set up over here. Whoops. Oh, it's nearly death. Yeah, because it looks like it would lower the blaster in its entirety as well as toggle the on-off switch. Now, what does that do? It would block off the pipe. But then what does lowering the blaster do, I wonder? Well, we're apparently not going to find out. We do need to take the spring over to the left side, though. And here I am thinking, oh, perhaps if we just kill one, can't we kill one? But no, I think I do need to maybe hit the question block on the left in case it has a spring in its own right. It does not. Okay, maybe I just need to jump over here directly because that's the obvious thing to do, and then we'll exit. Once again, we will, whoops, attempt to not fill everything down below. We'll attempt to enter this one tile slot, which is easier said than done because we just blew everything up. Okay, so much for pacifism, we'll just kill everything since that's the way of things. Alright, so we just need to really commit to that landing, since it is a little bit of a blind spot on the way down. After picking up that pink coin, I believe that was coin number 3 at that point. Nope. Never mind. I see, it's supposed to crush you or trap you there. But what if I just reset? I mean, I guess the on-off state stays off, so that doesn't do much for me. Yeah, so that's why the on-off state does what it does, so it prevents you from just reloading the room. But you could go back through the pipe directly. I mean, that's true of any of the interactions that blow up the hard blocks as well. Once the hard blocks are down, that's irreversible. Dreadful YT, you're welcome to submit to the queue. It is still open at this stage. Probably won't be open for that long today, but you're welcome to submit. There's one level that's supposed to be in the queue that would be ahead of you that is not currently listed because it didn't make it into the bot, but we should be able to get to you fairly soon. You submit using the add command and you pray that the bot is functioning today because it is running into a few glitches, unfortunately. You type !add followed by the level code, including the dashes. Okay, you can touch that, and then I can actually just do the claw swing back, in fact. Although once the claw stops, maybe that's not so friendly. Can't you wall jump there? Not in SMB3 you can't. Nope, no wall jumps in this style. They hadn't been invented yet. Yeah, whoops, sorry. I lost attention for a moment because I saw that my stream was lagging like crazy again. And unfortunately that does lock me out of the checkpoint, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Can I continue without the checkpoint? I don't think I can. I think everything is just going to lock me out at this point. So we'll just have to take a death and do it over again. And yeah, the fish will graciously allow you to knock yourself out. And yeah, and Mario, as I was saying, we did hit a sudden frame drop spike again. last minute or so, so it is on my end, not on your end, and hopefully it goes away. It's coming and going. We were doing so well the last few streams too. I was, as I was saying earlier, running Cuphead the last few days, and we had no hitches whatsoever, no audio issues, no video issues. Everything is working as beautifully as it should. Today, not so much. Today we're having some trouble. Frame drops seem to have calmed down for the moment, but there was definitely a lag spike just a moment ago. I need to remember to take this thing up. I'm not paying attention to it. And thank you for Shred Desert. Dreadful YT. So yeah, it says you're in position 4. I think you're actually in position 5 because of the code that was somehow not accepted by the bot earlier, but I'm glad that it's not happening to everybody, at least. Alright, let's remember to take this. It's dangerous to go alone. Loop around once again. And through we go. And oh yeah, the frame drops again, quite severe in fact. What's happening? It is a network issue, but yeah, I am lagging like crazy. I don't know what's happening all of a sudden, whether there's just somebody else in my network interfering or what's going on. Did I miss a coin? I didn't. Oh, I totally missed a coin, didn't I? I forgot to pick up a coin earlier, yeah, in one of the earlier rooms. I can go backwards, though. As long as I don't kill anything. Yeah, I totally forgot that one that was by the blaster drop, that's true. I'm gonna test whether I can reverse, I should be able to. As long as we don't kill anything on the way. That's perfectly fine. We rescued that. Whoop. Not so fast, say the Goombas. It will lead you into temptation. That's how it went. And yeah, Dratful, looking forward to the level you made with your friend. I don't know why I just instinctively jumped on that guy when I was busy reading the chat. But that's what happens. I'm also trying to keep an eye on my network statistics at the same time since they're going so badly. Yeah, I've got to look into this because the network issue is really severe today. Must be some kind of interference locally. Like I was saying, I'm not on my usual setup. The internet here is maybe a little too spotty for reliable streaming. Yeah, I'm just losing everything now at this point. Like, it must be coming to a bit of a standstill. So let's see if this will sort itself out as it did earlier, but something is going on to, like, basically drop everything here. I don't know. I'll keep an eye on it. Hopefully it calms down. I'll try not to lose too much footage. Network problems. I think it is cleared up for the moment, but it was definitely a huge dip. Oh yeah, we need to not kill Goombas. Let's let them walk away. Remember to grab coin 4 and then proceed to the next room. I do not have unnecessary tabs open. Actually, I have things running pretty lean right now. It's definitely not my machine that's pulling data from anywhere else. I think it might just be maybe another device on my network that's been causing trouble all of a sudden. Alright, let's try to go for the center vine and then jump after that. There we go, that's successful. Let's remember to grab the coin as well. We'll need to grab this coin every time since I didn't have the presence of mind to grab it before checkpoint. But we'll do it. Okay, 5 coins so far, 4 more to go. We'll just keep that in mind and play carefully from here. Okay, down we go. Have to remember which way was forward and which way was backward. This was backward. Yeah, of course, the one day that we get the huge raid and the big audience coming in is the... Whoop! Did I forget not to kill Goombas, but also the day that we have such severe network trouble. But yeah, this is one thing that I should bring up, because I know that I run into it constantly. Pretty much whenever I reset to a checkpoint, I immediately just forget what it was I was doing, and I have a habit of instinctively running right. And so when the entry point is right side and you hit checkpoint and you go left, that is an adventure in the wrong direction waiting to happen. Part of that is just me, but I think it probably happens to with many other players as well. Yeah, from what I'm seeing on my end, it must be like practically a slideshow at this point. Absolutely awful. I hopefully won't need to restart the stream or anything like that, but connection issue is definitely at the very least a big distraction for both streamer and viewer at this point, so. Merlin, someone should make a level that punishes all my habits. Yeah, I hope you've been cataloging them carefully, because I do have a lot of bad habits when I play this game. Okay, we've got to do something about this. Just trying to figure out what will be least disruptive to the stream. Not require a disconnection or restart or something. But let's see here. I can't kill the Goombas, but they can kill you. Yeah, in this level I can't kill them because if I do, it unblocks the entity limit, which allows munchers to spawn from the red pipes. The munchers detonate the bombs start closing off the exits and making the level impossible to complete, so it is specifically designed as a don't kill level. Oh, we need to get out of here because if the bomb detonates, that will also count towards the entity limit. And actually that was fine, unless there was anything additional up here I needed. Doesn't look like it, just a 1-up. Yeah, because if the bomb blew up from my stepping on it, that would also have failed the condition, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, thematically speaking, the Goombas are still allowed to kill me. We have to avoid both... Yeah, we have to avoid the beam, but jump on the balls. It'll be maybe a little tricky. Now, the bosses obey their own limits, so I am allowed to kill the bosses, I'm pretty sure. And I, in fact, have to jump on one of them probably to, whoops, get out of here safely. Okay, 1 second. We have to deal with this. This will hopefully not disconnect the stream. I'm going to see if I can do a little poking here to get the network to clear up. If I do accidentally disconnect, I will try to reconnect right away for the next part of this, but hopefully it's just going to be very momentary. Okay, do let me know if I'm still on. I think I am. I didn't see that this had been a full reset or anything. And no, it's still pretty bad. Okay. So it's not something that's been going on my local wireless then. It's something that is my network on the whole, like my external connection. That is just completely dying. I think. Let's take a look. No. We should be fine. I think. We'll see. I just changed wireless bands. I am on wireless in my current setup because, like I said, it's not my usual internet. Which was why I was concerned about interference, but we just changed bands, and I think we were probably just getting some interference on my previous frequency. So I think we should be okay at this point. Yeah, sorry about the slideshow of the level then, up to this point. No, I didn't make it look very watchable, but we should be back in business. Yeah, it's probably just another device on the same band that was basically drawing on it intensively. We'll try to give this a proper finish. And then that's okay, because those guys don't count towards the limits. And that just blocks off the flag, I see. Or the gold card, rather, if you kill the last one there, so. Okay, we managed to at least show off the last part of the level without it choking every few seconds. Yeah, sorry about that experience screen change, Chomp. I hope that was still reasonably watchable. I probably should have thought about fixing it that way earlier, but anyway. Let's mark that as a win. Let's put that misery behind us, network-wise, and continue from here. Okay, so current order, it's going to be Ziggsy, and then if Destroy Void is here, we'll get you in after that before we get to Awesome Lamp, Merlin, and Dratful. Just because of the bot failure that we had. So Ziggsy first, then we'll continue. And yeah, we try to be pretty accommodating on this stream when it comes to technical problems outside of everyone's control. Kalvik, can I find the 2 secrets that were in your level? Do I need to do it right this minute, or are you able to stay a little longer? Because I may just close the queue pretty soon anyway, and we can finish with a secret hunt, perhaps. But anyway, Mario doesn't like the ground, well, obviously. We'll at least do this one first. And, yeah, Kalvik, we'll try to accommodate that later. We'll definitely get that in later on to do the secret hunt properly. Reach the goal without landing after leaving ground. In which case, I'll probably make this last call as far as submissions go, so hopefully I will be able to stay long enough to for everything else. I mean, everybody's been sending me fairly shortish traditional levels today, so I imagine it won't be too much of a problem to get through the queue. Let's actually wait for the spike ball to drop before we decide to have our little adventure. A little further. Yeah, I'm just not estimating the timing window very well. It's a little late. Some people might be able to just read this visually. Oh yeah, you're only allowed one jump as well, so I can't do the adjustment jump at the very beginning. You would think that having the clear condition text blasted in my face would make me pay attention to it, but then yeah. That Goomba is a little bit off camera when I go towards it, so it's a bit hard to see. We'll scout ahead anyway. This is going to be a case of having to spin all the way here directly, which would just require maintaining the spin from the beginning. We'll scout ahead, so we don't have to do everything over from the clear condition. Interesting that it looks like you're supposed to have something like a cape at this point for a float. And then you would just knock out the bombs accordingly. So I feel like there is something like a cape that I have missed. Whoops. But yeah, it should be one clean sequence of spins all the way up to the spiny and into the pipe entrance. Anyway. A little hard to spot this, but we'll eventually find a sweet spot. Try to do it with some consistency. That looked like it was going to be right. Maybe I let up on the jump a little bit early. And that's still too early. Yeah, I wish it didn't require quite so much guesswork. There is a particular frame on the pipe I should be watching for, but I'm not consistent enough a player to really deal with that. And I think I just need to hold forward at that point because the Goomba's position isn't really going to be watchable, given that it's going to be off camera at the time that it's bouncing from the block down below. So it may just be a hold right segment. We'll just account for that accordingly. It also means that I can't really back up into the on-off switch because that will just miss the Goomba. And yeah, so the cape is immediately after that. The cape comes out after you hit the Goomba. And then once you have the ability to float around a little bit, that allows you to circle down to the spiny. That follows very soon after. Whoops. Yeah, and the Goomba is going to go left at that point. The Goomba is a little bit inconsistent to deal with, I think. Part of it being a visibility issue as well, that I'm not seeing which direction it's facing when it's getting a bounce, as well as when it's happening relative to the on-off switch. And definitely when you have the 3 on-off switches placed beside each other like that, it does encourage me to kind of back into it and center the hit, which then gets me into trouble when it comes to landing on the Goomba afterwards. So I think the Goomba landing is a little bit of a rough spot. But we got it at last, only to miss the Koopa, despite being given a very clear opportunity to land on it. So it is doable, we just need to exercise some care, perhaps. And I don't know if in the course of the clear check there was some very consistent thing that you did to get the Goomba to work, but apparently Yeah, you just need to hit it quickly enough, in fact. With the Goomba, you need to hit it quickly enough so that it's not really projected to either side yet. And if you get down to it quickly, then you can center the descent and land on it without too much additional trouble. It's a very tricky read, though. There we go. There we go. And once again, have to mind the camera. Just a couple of short bounces as an adjustment there will be sufficient. So, now we do some things with bombs and fail the clear condition. Let's scout ahead. Yeah, it looks like this is another exercise in just bouncing and bouncing. Of course, we would need to float with Cape for long enough for this guy to come up and bounce me up to the claw. I can't actually get up to the claw to scout at this point, so we'll just be death quickly and wrap around. So hopefully we can get the Goomba down consistently. It's going a little better. Yeah, because sometimes with levels like these, there can be timings, like the start timing at the very beginning of the level, that might just become a bit of a habit as the maker, but which are actually very difficult to see as a player going in blind. Now, we can't double tap these while we are on the standard fall rather than the spin, because you do just punch right through the bomb, so fortunately we do need to switch bombs with every landing. We'll just need to find a consistent entry point here. Go. Nope. And the Goomba's positioning is also going to depend on when you spawn it in horizontally. So, we're beginning to hit it a little more often at least. But it does feel like one element that's slightly out of my control. And we'll just make sure we float on the bombs in sequence, perhaps. That's a good way to do it. We need to not get dunked by this bomb. Up here, we'll project the Koopas in the correct direction. There we go. That was a mistake. That will be a loss, unfortunately, because... Yeah, because it didn't fail. I failed to account for the fact that Yoshi would get bumped by the blade in such a way that would not count as a clear condition failure. We'll need to, of course, fix this entry as well. Yeah, so here eventually we'll need to maintain a clear condition coming out as well, instead of having a landing, so that's all there is to it, though, so really short level, as you would normally expect with this clear condition, so we should be out of here before too long. You want the Yoshi-colored plumber? Yeah, we can switch to that. Haven't seen this guy in a while. And we'll fail the clear condition just to show him off. Nope. Very unfortunate fall there. Well, I had it going for a few attempts there. We'll just need to back to that. You need to go pretty much as soon as it stalls on its way out of the pipe. Splish. Bit of a tricky read. Thank you for the follow. Wait. Fun parts that technically any color would match Yoshi's color. Yeah, depending on the Yoshi. I guess pink Yoshi is not seen quite as often, at least in most of the games that I can think of. But, well, I guess in the Yoshi games themselves, you really do cover the full gamut of color scheme. In a Mario-centric context, perhaps not so much, but move over here and do this once again. Okay. There we go. Managed to get through that efficiently without blowing up the right side either, so we don't need to worry about getting dunked. Let's knock this guy out on the correct end of things, and then we'll fall towards Yoshi. Nope, that's a miss. Then I can't just do that now, can I? No, you need to bump... Hang on, let me think about how this whole pipe sequence is going to go here. Because suppose I'm ditching Yoshi in the previous segment and I come out without him. I think I need to come out with Yoshi intact. I shouldn't have to guess at this. But I was definitely missing something. Yeah, I think you just need a good dive with Yoshi, and then where you hit the ground, you should go over. No, I know bumpers don't count. I was just kind of instinctively reacting poorly when it came to Yoshi's bounce over the previous bumper at the very end. Just sort of instinctively jumping off of him to make an attempt at a pipe. Okay. Up we go. And here we have a pretty well-established method at this point. We just need to patiently knock out a bomb at a time. It's actually very convenient. That'll knock out the second bomb for me as well. And it's just a matter of taking it easy. Not doing any panic moves when I do manage to claim the dinosaur. Remaining reasonably centered and also hold up into the up pipe entry. Now we need a good dive. Or perhaps, yeah, we do need to bounce into Koopa to finish that up at the end. Okay, reasonably satisfying. I'm honestly not crazy about the introduction. I think the Goomba and the Spike Ball at the beginning are a little bit rough, but they are at the very start, so. Managed to get through that quite well at the end, so we'll mark that as a win. As I said before, we will be manually punching in Detroit Void's code first before we get further along in the bot. And so let's see what this is all about. And it's going to be troll level, many on-off switches. So yeah, we'll do this. We'll go through the remaining ones in the queue, which include a lot of traditional levels. That should be quick. And then we'll do Kalvik's Secret Hunt. It shouldn't take too long. I hope I don't have to cut off early or anything like I did with the Cuphead stream yesterday. You do need an on-off activation at this point in order to go through. Probably involving... Well, I mean, I can take damage, so that's not an issue, unless, of course, this being a troll, it is an issue. So suppose we go back here, we do this, and then it's just a lot of fish. Okay. Bloopers don't die to any of this because they're their own independent layer, pretty much. Key door is on the right side. Oh, we do need to kill the Cheep Cheeps, in fact. And it's an at least 7 Cheep Cheeps condition, so it might not necessarily be the Cheep Cheeps at the beginning. Yeah, Calvic, this is what happens when I don't pay attention to the clear conditions. It's an at least condition, though, so it might not necessarily be that. And Gamer Funny Steve Minecraft, welcome. Thank you for Dungeon of Rage. That will likely be the last one to take today, but we'll leave the queue open just a little bit longer. Yeah, you can jump them immediately if you just spawn them one at a time, so that can be 5 out of 7 accounted for pretty quickly. And Mail64, yeah, thanks for dropping by for so long. Okay, so this guy's just not going to go. And you basically need to get on top of that one to... Yeah, so the first thing isn't even a Cheep Cheep, is it? Let's take a look at this. Oh, it's a 1-up mushroom, okay, that's what it is. Alright, so we'll just step off to the side, and I was hoping to get in position to jump him, but there should probably be an additional bounce after that, though. Anyway, let's hit this. And okay, that's one way to do it. I'll just kind of hit this on the left so it tracks me, and then that's 4 out of 7 accounted for. Right, now we check this pipe for a change. Since we know this hasn't been dealt with yet. This looks potentially cheapy. Except I don't really have a good way of killing those at the moment. I wonder how I should go about that then, given that if you activate those blocks, there's no other way to activate them. You can't ground pound them or anything, so can't really get on top of the fish application. We can just check the pipe. It says something about the on state. It just dunks you, okay. There are going to be 3 pink coins that are relevant at some point in this level. We don't know where exactly yet. We'll worry about the Cheep Cheep condition at the beginning later, I think. Let's do a little more exploration first. And... or we could... yeah, I think the trick to this is to consistently go left against the Cheeps, because then you can tap them one at a time without really having to be concerned about your positioning. Actually fairly straightforward, so probably the easiest way to take care of that then. Is there a reason to come down here if I don't have a way of dealing with the Cheep Cheeps that spawn from those blocks? Probably not. Let's just continue. Yeah, this code I had to punch in manually. Lolimba, that Fall Guys. Now, it's possible that this door is not going to be the exit I want. Now we need to go through the other pipe. Somehow I suspect something like that is going on. E-switch allows me to do what? Oh. Allows me to go through here. Well, this opens up, and then something about a 50 coin on that side. Okay. And everybody is all smiles. Possibly you need to take the key and preserve up to this point instead of spending it in the previous door. Okay. Interesting. And that does give you a key, but then you would need to back out of that instead of continuing, obviously. You think it's actually possible to kill the Chief Chief so you duck jump through the fish where they go out of the block? Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of interesting how that plays on your habits from standard Mario when it comes to continuing the star, even though that is something that never happens in Mario Maker. And Detroit Void, we're usually fine without hints. I'll be alright. That's the point of the playtest anyway, just to see what I run into and what I don't. Yeah, because you'd expect the camera to just travel with you when you're at the end of that key segment. Oh yeah, we've been here already. And in fact, if you come here with the on-off switch activated, you have one additional Chief Chief accounted for in that location, unless it drops too low too quickly, which may be the case. Okay. Might as well take care of what we can. If you pause the frame before you die, you can quit and skip the level. Oh, okay, you were copying something else, I see. I'm also thinking about where else we might want to toggle an on-off switch before coming back here. I'll need far better memory to really pick up on some of that. Okay, so here, we didn't actually need the P-switch, but tapping the on-off might be interesting because it would get you to the ending with access to one of the P-switches. Not P-switches, but access to a fish, perhaps. Oh, you know what? If you have a star active, incidentally, the star would have allowed you to kill some of the fish in those segments where you get question blocks and dunk fish on top of yourself. Unfortunately, I don't think you can keep the star for long enough. You can't really go back to where you need to go. Here, however, you're finally able to continue up to this point. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I have a low timer here. This is nothing. Maybe it was just an oversight. I'm kind of surprised that there aren't any traps up here. Or anything else significant. Yeah, this area seems like it's just not anything unless we get within camera range of something special, but nope. You just see how everything is laid out. I'm just going to keep this P-switch as a swimming tool, since we're low on time anyhow. Looks like we have the ability to go through here. Interestingly enough, if you let the P-switch float, maybe I'm able to use it as a way to enter doors. I kind of doubt that that's what's going on in this level, though. I think you just come through here and have the P-switch already activated. Now, why do I care about that bomb? Any kind of spawn blocking? Let's see. But perhaps we missed an opportunity to kill some fish up to this point. Ah, okay, so yeah, no, they float in either direction. So we just need to sit here then. Anyway, anyway, we have the solution, but we also only had 30 seconds remaining, so I don't need to keep the P-switch except for swimming purposes. But we've essentially solved it. I just needed to hit the fish accurately at the end. And let's see here. Whoops. Possibly rushing through this a little bit now. Okay, through we go. And, of course, now we're going to start dying to every blooper. That's alright, we'll try it again. But I think we did everything else pretty much the way that is going to get us through the level. Whoops. Okay, up we go. Yeah, looping back around here for the Cheep Cheeps at the very end. Not really sure what the whole coin thing is doing here for me. But that's okay, if it's a free key, essentially, we'll just take it. So we'll grab the coin so we don't have issues with the P-switch. And then... yeah, so I hit the on-off switch. I do need to grab the key, though, so... we'll head over here, we'll grab the key, and go back. Yeah, in case you're somebody who just likes to jump everywhere, I suppose. Definitely thinking about whether some kind of P-switch cheeses are possible when it comes to underwater door entry. I don't know if that's the case, though. We'll let the bomb do its job. And we'll just tap a few of these. They're going in the right direction. We'll need all three of these, and of course I'm not accounting for the fact that they have wings. Yeah, so I feel like I've solved the series of interactions at this point. I'm just not really... oh, whoops. No, Detroit Boy, there's absolutely no problem if things are not ultra hard. In fact, if you're making something that flows like a troll level, one of the things that is rather important when it comes to troll levels is that once you see the path, things should be easy to do and easy to repeat. That mechanically the tasks should not actually be hard. If the player's focus is supposed to be on navigating the maze and understanding the sequence. So in a troll level, it's actually a good thing if you don't have too many things that can kill you due to poor mechanics or poor jumping. Like, you still need, very often, some reaction time. You need good reaction to things, you need to have a good mental picture of what it is you want to do. But since troll levels are partly kind of built to be very spectator-centric experiences, one very important element of their design is that you want the player to die to confusing themselves, not because they are moving poorly or pressing the wrong button. Right? Like, you want them to lose to the mental content of the level rather than the mechanical content, if that makes any sense. Incidentally, whenever you have something that does have a kind of maze-like flow to it. You also probably want to set the timer to the full 500 seconds. Because you always have to account for a little bit of thinking time for the player. That's especially true for puzzles, but certainly any kind of puzzle-like navigation as well. Oh, whoops. That was extremely careless. I was just trying to get in position for the door. Probably should have just let go of the P at that point, given that I don't need it. So yeah, like for example, it is a little unfortunate that I'm dying to the Cheep Cheeps at the end when I feel like I've already kind of figured out what to do. And generally you want a level to be kind of focused when it comes to whether the player is more concerned about what to do or how to do it. So. And yeah, there might be a better way to kill the Cheep Cheeps at the end. Maybe spawn them with a little more space between them. So I can actually hit them properly, but... I don't need to kill the Cheep Cheeps at the end. Okay, so you're telling me that there's another way I can get the remaining 3 out of 7. Yeah, because definitely when I've found a solution that seems like it's supposed to work, my temptation is to just go straight for it. I mean, it doesn't matter that it's not what I'm supposed to do, right? Like, the fact that it's available and it looks like a very viable option for beating the level means that people are naturally going to try it. So... And often when people see a solution like that, they are liable to stop exploring and trying other things, as I'm kind of demonstrating here. Because it looks like there's already a very clear path. No, I'm thinking about the previous section as well with the dead end and the entire row of question blocks. Because it looks like with invincibility there, you could... Whoops. This was careless. Listen, I was thinking about that bomb as well, in fact. I don't know if you can get in position with it quickly enough. That is a good suggestion. But... given that the fish are kind of bouncing around the whole time, it might be... really harder to do than just jumping on the fish, which seems perfectly viable. Okay, hugging the ceiling here seems to be okay. Just be reasonably cautious. And we'll go for a swim. I know I don't necessarily have to hang on to the P-switch, it does make the swimming easier. Can I give you a suggestion specifically for your level? Oh look, there are more fish. Ah, okay. And that's okay, we can take damage here at this point, and we have the clear condition. Okay. Yeah, I would only have been able to discover that accidentally, I think. Let's just drop the P so I can go through this. And hit the flag without too much additional trouble, as long as we don't get sniped by the blooper here, which was certainly a risk. We wait for the bomb, and then we just walk onto the flag. Oops. There we go.
You made it.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that I only really would have been able to discover accidentally, I think. Thank you so much for the follow. I don't think I can probably beat the record, given that I'm about 30 seconds off. I do want to get through the remaining few as well. So... many on-off switches. Not really that many. So yeah, a couple of things. It seemed like the area above the water was left blank because maybe you didn't account for the fact that the player would go that way. You have to remember that in something like Control Level, people will try everything they can try, and so there will definitely be some exploration up there. Yeah, other than that, some interactions, like picking up the pink coins for the instant key, felt like they were kind of there as filler in some ways, in that they weren't really adding to the maze structure of the level, but it's kind of like this is a good starting structure, I guess, but there are definitely some things that can be polished off about it. But we'll mark that as a win. We will also, as promised, close the queue as soon as I... Oh, yeah, this wasn't in the bot. As soon as I load up the next code, so this will definitely be the last call. And next we'll just be doing the continuation of Awesome Lamp's Super World. So yeah, as before with Super Worlds, with short levels, we'll be continuing levels for the first 15 minutes or so of this mission. And thank you for the follows from everybody who has come in just now. We will load this up and then I will close the queue from there, just to ensure that I can get through everybody if I can. And just give me a moment while I update my stream title accordingly. So yeah, I'm glad that the network fix earlier appears to have worked, that everything else got kind of cleaned up. Johnny Ray Ray, realistically, very many things that are tagged for DGR are not actually going to make it onto DGR stream anyway. You would think that people who watch him understand that by now. I mean, Merlin here has been trying to get getting over at level on a DGR for some time, I think, and he's a very good maker, and he hasn't been able to make a dent in that last I checked. Unless that changed. I mean, if that changed, do let me know. Derbish Visor, yeah, welcome. I keep telling myself we need to arrange the co-op stream at some point, but... Oh, whoops. 10 coin over here. Yeah, no, I should pay attention, first of all. I was too busy reading the chat. But yeah, a lot of the really big streamers who have built huge followings on YouTube and Twitch since Maker 1, they have multiple levels of filtration before a level actually gets their attention. And I've been very lucky to know a couple of makers who have been featured by people like DGR before, but they are, of course, in extremely high demand. There's nothing there but a 10 coin and dying to the Goomba on the way back. Let's just continue as before. And yeah, it's really unfortunate that the way that Nintendo accommodates co-op play has not really been that conducive to people specializing in building multiplayer levels when it comes to seeing that content as intended. And I think I remember this mechanic as well. In this level, I believe it's one of the ones I had cleared previously. Yes, that's right, Pyramid of the Seesaw. Vaguely remember this. Nearly got thwomped there for a moment, though. Yeah, you do need to punch him out of the way. Very satisfying to do that. And yeah, Johnny Ray Ray, I totally see where you're coming from, but apparently Detroit Void is very, very new as a maker, so... One of the things we do on this stream is we try to cultivate makers and eventually get them to the state where they're better, so... Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but we'll do what we can as the playtester to encourage the good stuff. Now, what did I do here? Oh yes, I need to toss a bomb on the other side. Weigh that down. But yeah, at the same time, there are definitely, I think, a lot of things about things like viewer level etiquette and such that aren't necessarily as obvious to people who are new as when you've been around as long as many of us have. In fact, Mario Maker 2 has been around for long enough, and the player base seems to have kind of been locked in for long enough in some ways that it's always a little surprising when we do see some new people from time to time. We need to bomb this, obviously. We'll try to do that accordingly. Or do we? I think we do. And jump before that happens. Hang on. And yeah, you said it was loop on your end that helped you a lot. And I know how very critical loop can be, so that's always a good sign that, you know, you managed to make it through his boot camp. But he's very critical in a good way, I think, in that... I think there are a few things that he can be maybe excessively opinionated about, but at least he has a very good and clear sense of his own taste as a player, and that's true of a lot of streamers as well, is that, you know, you get feedback from people who have very clear perspective on what they like or don't like in Mario Maker, and the more you get a sense of those different personalities among streamers and playtesters, the more you get a sense of where your design will go well and where it won't. And no, Johnny Ray Ray, we mean Loop and Snoop, not Loop Hazard. Loop and Snoop, who's kind of one of the big technical guide writers in this game. Merlin, I actually don't think your traditional levels earlier on were too difficult. I mean, they were probably too difficult to be for standard traditional players, but there are still a lot of people who appreciated that kind of tuning, and I never thought they were unfair. Whoops. We keep doing that. I should just let the swamp go up, actually. Let's pay a little bit of attention here. I can also shield into them, but I don't think it would really be a significant bump. And Dolphin, you just like Kaizo and speedrun and precision, yeah. I mean, it seems like that's, in some ways, the majority opinion on Twitch, if you take a look at most streams that go on. Detroit Void, we're just talking about Loop and Snoop, who's a streamer who's usually on afternoons North American time or evenings European time. But he's going to be on likely tomorrow, as he tends to be on Sundays, I think. Anyway, yeah, we'll just let the thwomps bounce. and not fall off the seesaw when that happens. Let's see here. But yeah, certainly one of the things you gradually pick up as well from submitting levels to certain streamers is that everybody kind of has their own habits when it comes to how they read certain signals and which indications they follow, which ones they don't. Whoops. We need to do something about these forms. Maybe if I just activate them ahead of time on the right side of the seesaw to get them to fall through. That should be fine. And yeah, Detroit Void, welcome. Detroit Void, one thing I would suggest, since you're on your way out, is in spite of the fact that troll levels are obviously of great spectator interest, you don't necessarily want to start with them until you have a very good mechanical sense of the game in terms of what the advanced interactions in the editor are and what people will try. Trolls are actually one of the hardest things to make well because you have to predict a lot of experimental player behaviors, and you need to stay a step ahead of the player every step of the way. So I'd recommend practicing on other styles first until you've really developed a mechanical knowledge of the editor that is able to anticipate a lot of those more advanced combinations. But anyway, thanks for coming by. And hopefully that is useful. Looks like here I can just fall through, okay. Notice how the outside of the pyramid, artistically, also matches this exterior here, inside and outside. They match up just fine, and we will up over here. Also notice as Link, of course, that whenever you see hard blocks, everything can be destroyed. We didn't demonstrate that so much with the pyramid in the previous room, so let's leave things as is. Okay, since we were kind of doing traditional Super World rules here, we'll try to finish World 3 in this run, and then we'll probably proceed directly after that. Awesome Lamp. I think finishing this one and the World 3 airship will probably be a good pace and a good way to stop. And that'll be a decent, significant chunk of progress. Once again. Desert Wind. Where have we seen this lately? Oh, whoops. Would be nice if we grabbed a propeller. And just punch the ceiling a little bit. This looks okay. Totally safe. Anything up here? Not by the looks of it. So let's just let the Pokey get out of the way. Whoops. Okay, that was not smart. Desert Wind being what it is. Probably just want to go up the right side wall at all times so we're not constantly fighting the wind direction. And here's another bit of propulsion for us. That was a sad way to go. Alright, let's tap this. Let's continue. Or, oh, is this another case of facing the wrong way at checkpoint. Yeah, it is, because I remember taking a propeller pass here earlier. It's funny because just earlier I was talking about how if I'm at checkpoint, I always have a tendency to go right without looking at the flow of the level. And here I instinctively went left because the previous segment had been training me to go right to left. And I just forgot how far back the checkpoint was. So I think once I'm heading left to right or right to left, I just kind of get trapped in that mindset and don't actually pay attention to my surroundings. Oh, there we go. Unfortunately, we don't have Lakitu here with the Mario Kart camera to point me in the right direction. Would be an interesting thing to have in this game, though. Because it could be implemented like a sound effect almost, right? Where just as you have sound effects going across the screen, maybe if you touch a certain square, you have the Mario Kart wrong way show up and flash across the screen. If I were designing sound effects for Mario Maker 3, I think we'd have to add that one to the list. Looks like there's a whole optional circuit here. We'll obviously take it. Grab the one up along the way. And out we go. And let's tap that and go. Okay, we should be able to do the castle, or airship rather quickly, and then we'll continue from there. Yeah, the optional content, like the 1-ups and such. Pretty well placed. I'm still thinking about that sad propeller death earlier, though. Wendy's burner airship. She's got many airships, so this one was just a burner airship she decided to use for... I don't know. Posting nonsense on Twitch. This is her burner account. Okay, there we go. Let's not get cooked. Yeah, we'll go for it. Maybe taking a mecha over and throwing it is a better idea here, as long as we don't let everything wake up. That didn't go far enough. Okay. Never mind. Made life harder for myself again. There we are. Can't really do anything with that either. And yeah, Merlin, I guess the whole airship is the galley. Make your fried chicken anywhere you like. I think it was in yesterday's Cuphead stream where somebody was saying that the flame attack on one of the bosses looks like a burning piece of chicken or something. And it kind of did. This was on the final DLC boss, for those who have played that content already. Highly recommended, by the way, for the Cuphead players in the room. I'm sure most people have picked it up, but a surprising number of people who had already played Cuphead were just asking, oh, is the DLC worth it? I mean, it should be self-evident that it's worth it. You don't need to ask my opinion on that. But yeah, it was an absolute blast. And whoops. Let's actually pay attention here. That includes you, Burner, coming in from down low. Okay. Unfortunately, picking up the mechas doesn't seem to do anything for me here. There's nothing that's going to be a useful throw target, as far as I can tell. We'll just take this pathway instead. Something about that descent specifically reminded me of Flying Battery in Sonic Mania. I don't even know why, because I haven't played that game in years. I think that airship level as well had some kind of similar descending sequence at some point, and it just triggered an extremely distant memory. This is what happens when you play too many video games and let them all blur together over time. The secret room with the burners reminded you of NSMB DS, which I also haven't played in a long time. I played it originally back when it launched in 2006. Did it up to a full 100% back then, but there's some things I remember very clearly about it and some things that I don't at all. Alright, let's pay attention to Wendy here. This is not that claustrophobic. Got plenty of room. Just need to, you know, maybe not stand on top of the burners. Wendy's projectiles actually work pretty well as a complement to the burner patterns, I guess, because you're dealing with both the straight back and forth horizontal and the diagonal at the same time. So for once, this plain old box that you put Wendy in for reflections actually works out pretty well. Usually with the Koopalings you just spin jump all day and keep yourself alive, but here, just enough space to work with. We're obviously going to go up top for the 1-up. And that should be World 3, so thank you for that awesome lab. Looking forward to continuation on some future stream. Speaking of which, I will not be back at this regular time next week due to a travel conflict. We'll see if we can get an additional viewer stream going at some other point in a week, but it's not going to be next weekend. I'll be gone for a few days. So, might be sometime before we get to the Ice World, but hopefully we'll be there soon enough. Merlin, you had to fight for stars by actually jumping on each other and throwing fireballs or shells on each other. Oh, in the Versus mode. In NSMB DS. Yes, that's right. I actually did try that out back in the day, I think, but not for very long. What are we looking at currently? Yes, I said it would be Merlin and Dratful, and then we would do Kavik. And then we'll finish up the queue from there. Kavik's not actually listed in the bot, but we kind of made that commitment earlier, so we'll stick to it. Because it was a level that we had shown off earlier. For now, though, we'll do one additional one by Merlin. Which is probably the castle, isn't it? Given that we were doing the World 5 selection. Yeah, so we'll just go ahead to Skewer Stomp Wump. Sorry for the re-upload. It felt like it was too difficult for traditional. I don't know, it's still ending up at about 4%. 3 to 4%. Can't be that unreasonable. Unless you run into the first Mecha Koopa. Okay, so lava is going to go down. That thwomp, I think from my camera position, was a little hard to see. Lava is going to come back up to a point. It is marked by the skulls, I think, the extent to which it's going to be moving. Also, yeah, that's totally a skewer waiting to happen. Very much expected. And let's bump this up here. It feels like... Oh, the snake block is going to stay alive for long enough. Yeah, thankfully not too much room for discrepancy on that timing there. No, you can totally reach that if you don't do a silly thing like I did and stand on top of this guy all day. Spin jump on top of him. Or just, well, I said spin jump on top of him. Move the camera and then... Or you just grab that while you're tall. That might also be helpful. This was a mistake. The 30 coin being placed like that seems to imply that either the on-off switch has to be activated or you do an up throw with a Mecha Koopa, but if you're just going to it the standard way like that, it does seem to be a little bit of a trap. And 10 coin we had shown off previously, I think, so we'll just leave that for now. Merlin's traditional levels, as I understand it, do use the 10, 30, 50 system as an equivalent to the NSMB 3-coin system that notifies you of which coin you're on. I kind of like that about the way Nintendo implemented the large coins to have 3 very clear designations, 10, 30, 50, so you could use it in that way if needed. From over here. Yeah, that was a mistake. You know what? Why didn't I just... well, take this guy out. And miss. That's okay, we don't need it. I just wanted to show off whether I could do it. Yeah, so you do need to let the thwomp go back up. The 30 coin really does strongly encourage you to go up, though, with no knowledge of what the ceiling is like. And you can go faster if you find a good position on the mecha. I think the idea is to trap yourself in a door. Oh, and drop yourself back here. Okay, so... But now you have an on-off switch, which is going to remove some previous spawn blocks and change the layout. And now you can grab the 30 coin. Okay, I see. Tetris T block over here, doing a little bit of work. But it didn't look like you could previously come through here in the other on-off state, couldn't you? That wouldn't be strictly prevented if you wanted to do this quickly. Regardless, it looks like, okay, there is going to be a reactivation of the on-off to just standardize things as you come out of the checkpoint. This is going to be a fast rise and fall, and we need to account for that accordingly and reclaim the high ground. Again, yeah, need to watch out for those locations when the camera doesn't actually reveal the ceiling above the thwomp. What is this going to do for me? Well, mushroom first of all. And then it looks like on-off is going to activate at some point, and we'll be coming back here for more after we deal with this very lengthy snake block that is going to endure for just long enough. Very nice of you to give me a little question block to hit here while we're being restless. Yeah, the snake block timings and lengths relative to the lava timings actually did work out there. Much better than I expected from first glance. Anyway, up we go. 50 coin is revealed. That's it. Now what do we do? Let's go back, because apparently that was just a secret. But we can come back here and something new is going to happen First of all, with the availability of this fire flower, and secondly, with missing the snake block completely. Well, that's bad. Because I think I can't actually continue without the snake block, can I? Nor do I have a door to reset through, so... It's like a bit of a lock here, unless there's anything I failed to explore. And yeah, unless I missed something, that is a pretty clear example of a self-destruct lock. Which I think is more of a problem in traditional than it is for most genres, because it is such an expectation in traditional play that you won't have to make that decision about whether the death is inevitable. Thank you for the follow. Whoa. I should not look over at chat when I'm in the middle of a jump over lava. I'm definitely looking around for spots where a Mecha Koopa throw could break anything, but I think it's, in general, a level that's pretty secure from that sort of misbehavior. And yeah, this snake block works pretty well regardless of what level the lava is at, simply because it's long enough to give you the jump. So you do get a progressive power-up here every time. That was previously a mushroom when I saw it last, but... Yeah, because you're supposed to come up here after the on-off switch and go up the left side. I do see that now. Anyway, here's the attention deficit block over here. And up we go. Yeah, because I wonder if you could have done like an up throw of the Mecha Koopa into that switch and escape outside that on-off cage and continue from there. I don't think you can, but sometimes some of the things I come up with theoretically, which I can't do, can actually be executed by other players, so always on the lookout for that stuff, even if I can't demonstrate that. Whoa, lava level coming up pretty quickly for me here. Now, can I punch through anything here? Nope. We'll just let the thwomp pass again. I can't quite see where I'm heading towards, so... Luckily, just ground. Is there a block I can activate, or was I behind pace for the original blue snake block? I think I was way behind pace for the original blue snake block. I didn't realize this was time sensitive. So yeah, perhaps this segment has a few issues in that the blue snake block is time sensitive in ways that are not self-evident. So that's something you might want to think about revising, because there isn't really anything to discourage you from doing this slowly, basically, even though you would have had a good look at this with the other on-off state prior to this point. Because it was the same issue with the previous location with the snake block as well, and I think the tidiest way to deal with that would just be with a reset opportunity if you can afford the doors, but if you can't afford the doors, then that might just be a little trickier to redesign cleanly, especially when you're managing both on-off states at once. Yeah, might need some additional forced forward pressure with the off-state part of this level in order for that to work. Let's see here. Go up. And yeah, we'll just need to remember to do it quickly. Here too, we have to catch the snake block in a time-sensitive fashion. It's just that everything in this first run in the on states is relaxed enough that the timing was never really an issue. And yeah, that on-off block, that's the bit where I was thinking about the up throw. We don't need to do the 50 coin, we'll just cycle back. We didn't need the flower either. And yeah, I can see how it would be easy to miss this snake block simply because of the fact that you are given the opportunity to go backwards for the flower. Oh, whoops. Actually watched the lava level for once. I guess I was aware that it was coming from prior experience, but... Well, and the fact that you start with the lava level completely clearly visible, but you do kind of need to understand it's going to come back up. And back down it goes. I didn't really need to stall on this. Probably best if I didn't. But we'll just do the on-off activation and try to wrap around quickly. You think my video is a little delayed? Oh, you mean relative to the sound, or...? Yeah, because if the sound is a little out of sync, I'll just do a quick reset on that. And you think it adjusted itself. Okay, that's good. Yeah, my audio gets creaky from time to time. It was a big issue at the beginning of the stream, actually, today. I think we managed to get some of that sorted out. I was hoping to bounce on top of this a little longer so I could hold it all the way through. A little too tricky to do it, though. Because I was thinking, once again, if I save a Mecha Koopa all the way here, then we just do something. This location. Thank you for the follow. We'll skip the... Oh no, we shouldn't have skipped the flower. I don't have the flower currently. That's okay. And yeah, once again, you really do need to get ahead of that snake block in the off-state segment. Okay, here we are. And we'll do it again. So yeah, given the on-off block pattern leading up to that part where the snake block takes you under, when I'm next here, it's going to be a little tighter than I'm giving it credit for in terms of my opportunity to get ahead of the lava level. Yeah, I do think the snake block SD lock issue is worth a re-upload. It looks like something that people are quite likely to run into. Okay, have to get ahead of that really quickly. Now up here. Right, we've been there before. We know what to do. And as you can see here, yeah, you need to be quick. And you need to understand that you need to be quick. Which I guess if you remember how the snake block worked previously in the on state, you are given enough information to do it, but you're given that information on enough of a delay that I think players are likely to forget. Because even when you're there in the on state, the fact that you have one snake block operating continuously isn't really something that draws attention to itself as something that will actually matter. Anyway, we'll just keep going here, and part of it is because here you're given far fewer movement options leading up to this point, given that any of those other platforms are unavailable. So it's very likely that a player will just get here to the snake block without actually noticing that it's missable. Because the timing just kind of naturally works and is very relaxed, right? But it does lull you into a false sense of security. And yeah, SD locks are bad. Particularly for traditional. It's... whoops. Kind of a core part of what makes a traditional level traditional that I think people often forget about if they're mostly just focused on things like difficulty tuning or... you know, basic things like that. There are definitely a lot of hidden standards to traditional style Nintendo levels and the expectations that players carry in with them when they see something that's tuned like this. And that are not really explicitly documented, but which you just notice with a lot of experience, right? Like how Nintendo levels never require you to take a hit. They are always doable damageless. You can't always insist on that in Mario Maker, where certain mechanics do require you to do intentional damage boosts. I mean, you don't want to give up on all those mechanics necessarily, but they need to be there very purposefully, I suppose. In a way that's easily understandable. Because otherwise it's entirely an expectation, a reasonable expectation, that if players are playing traditional, for instance, that they would... Yeah, so here's the other issue. This is why I'm very likely to stall in this segment of Mr. Snake Block. It's because I can't see the floor. When I go up towards the thwomp, the floor is out of camera range. And if it's out of camera range, I know that as a player, I'm very likely to hesitate, or I'm likely to try some other things like spin through the yellow blocks on the way down, or do other things like that. So it's kind of a pause where I'm very likely to just fool around in the level, instead of continuing and trying to catch up with the snake block afterwards. So that's exactly what's happening there. It's actually the camera position that is feeding into my tendency to delay. It's a very subtle thing. It's something that playtesting reveals, but which I can see why you would have missed it. Even though snake blocks are inherently kind of an SD lock risk. Okay, let's maybe not get crushed by the Muncher. That would be very nice. This is kind of a nice Lemmy fight, actually. It's a very simple concept, which is hit him in the belly, but given the spacing here and the continuity with the skewer mechanic throughout this castle, it's kind of a good way to combine a ball bouncing mechanic with everything else that's going on. Let's take a mecha with me just to add some risk of death. Switch gate at the very end there. You know what? We are obviously going to check this. And I feel very rewarded for it. This must be the hidden M, just watch. M. Okay, where's my on-off? There we go. Oh yeah, and it makes you wait for the on-off as a bit of a cutscene ending. Very nice. So yeah, this one definitely worth a little bit of redesign around the snake block for all of the reasons that we identified, but I'm glad I caught the fact that the camera was one of the reasons that I was diverted, because I think that's a very small factor there that's likely to be overlooked otherwise. Anyway, thank you for that, Merlin. I'd of course be happy to play future revisions when you have those ready. Dratful, if you are still here, please check in, and we'll pull you in. We'll give Dratful a moment to respond. I do see them on the current lurk list, but if they're AFK, we'll head over to Kavik's level first. I sound like a guy called Crazy Canuck who plays PGA Tour game. Interesting. Come to think of it, I've never been seen in the same room as that individual at the same time. So, I mean, the only thing that would maybe reveal the difference in our identity would be the fact that I have absolutely no clue about golf. Okay, if we're not hearing from Dratful, I will skip over to Kavik's level first. Let's get over to our played courses. We'll just pull that in. This was in the whole GDQ set that we did at the beginning of the stream. The Speedy Glide Desert Quest. For the people who are remaining behind this one in queue, by the way, which would be Gamer Funny, Steve Minecraft, and Dolphin. If you are present, we will definitely skip over to you directly afterwards. But we're going to do the secrets hunt here in this level first. Does the name make sense in English? Kavik, you mean the title, Speedy Glide Desert Quest? Yeah, I mean, obviously it's an attempt to say SGDQ, but it makes perfect sense to me. I'm not sure how I would rewrite it within the character limit to be any crisper. I think it's perfectly fine. And James D, I will look it up afterwards. And that's definitely new to me as a voice comparison, because I've heard a couple of different comparisons in the past to various YouTubers or streamers that people want to introduce to me. Okay, so we're going to be looking for two secrets that were not previously revealed. There is this slot in the ceiling that's right here with a blue pipe. Don't know if we can manage to dash up to that point and wall jump up, but that seems to be secret number one. I did not see this previously, so glad we found that one right away. Ah, yes, this is where the SGDQ lettering is. Placed directly for people who would not be concerned about clearing faster than another team. And Kavik, the only thing is that I did see the end screen as well, the extra blaster drop at the very end, but I would guess that's not the actual secret that you mean, and that it's not a separate chamber or anything. And yeah, the Q seems like it was kind of a challenging letter for most people to deal with. I kind of liked the bumper solution. That, I believe it was Casper's level that had that. Usually you get so accustomed to different kinds of pixel art in this game. Oops, this column up here looks like it's worth checking. We'll go back and check that. Like, gradually you think that you've seen all kinds of lettering, and then you see the letter Q come up all of a sudden, and people have to come up with so many varied solutions. Just because it's such a nuisance. Especially to get it to line up with however many pixels you've reserved for all of the other letters in your grid. This totally feels worthwhile, this spot over here. Oh no, this is just the exit. This is a quick exit that doesn't require the propeller, in fact. Part of the speed path that I had not previously done, but which I think people notice visually. And here's the anti-SD lock check, which I was very impressed with, actually, the way that you made it somewhat hidden in that this section was, you know, very cleanly symmetrical, and yet it would just come up in this corner when it's about to expire and catch you by the feet. And yeah, James D, I'm glad you enjoyed the stream. Thank you for the follow. We do usually run Maker 2 here. I don't need a propeller at all if you follow the speed route. I noticed that about the exit to this section as well, in fact, that you can just skip the propeller entirely. Regardless of whether you take the acorn down the low path or the high path. So yeah, we'll be taking some silly deaths here from time to time if I'm doing secret hunting. So this was what I was looking at, that you could glide all the way under, boost to the left, and then wall jump up to the pipe with the acorn. I don't know if I can actually do it, but we can try it since Kalvik is here, and since I didn't demonstrate that previously. Well, I forgot that already. We'll maybe take a death and try it once more. But you do have a boost available at that point, so you just need to kind of reverse into the wall. And if you do the wall climb high enough, the wall jump should be accurate. There's probably some other section I didn't check here as well. Like if you go... Well, you can't go left, but... No, that's going to be too low. Yeah, you would need to glide pretty close to the ceiling the whole way to follow that curve without falling into the abyss below. There we go. Should be able to do it. Well, I mean, you get the idea. We'll try it a few more times, but clearly not close enough to the ceiling. So yeah, for those who didn't see it, this was part of the... Whoops, that's too late. This was part of the SGDQ relay race that took place, one of the 9 levels involved in that set, and we did do a complete playthrough of all the straightforward clears at the beginning of this stream, but hadn't quite revealed everything that was put in. In the original version, you had to pipe a tile higher, which made the skip incredibly hard and precise. Oh, because of your landing location on the blaster, I guess. If I'm looking at this accurately. Also, yeah, the first time through, I definitely did the second loop around here as well, which... Whoops. Too early on a boost up, exactly. And Merlin, the Q stands for me. Well, I mean, it certainly doesn't stand for as quick on my stream. Whoop. Fortunately, not quite getting the up pipe. That area. Try it again. Yeah, I get up piped very often. I was noting that when I was streaming the GDQ levels earlier, that seemed like everybody was trying to set up an up pipe moment for runners. I think it was in practically every level. I don't know how intentional it was, but everybody was being very spectator-minded when it comes to encouraging spaghetti in public view. That was certainly one way to do it. And nope. Seems like I was positionally correct that time. If they do another GDQ race, you will run out of words with Q. Oh, you mean in terms of the titles? Because I know you did Spooky Ghosts Done Quick. The unuploadable level back in Maker 1.
Oh.
I'm trying to remember who contributed to the Maker 2 relay back in early 2020. I know I played those levels, I'm just trying to remember who was involved, because it was a very different crew. Well,
Oh.
unintentional glitch level, yeah, exactly. I guess Nintendo thinks it's a glitch. Now, I did see video of that afterwards, and I remember it was definitely a lot of fun to watch, just with the booze everywhere. Okay. I don't know if I'll necessarily try for this up pipe that many times. By the way, since we're just mostly focusing on the secrets hunt, we'll maybe give it one more go on this one. Nope. Boosting the wrong way. But anyway, it is doable. We just haven't shown it off on stream yet. But yeah, the blaster weight mechanic is definitely very cool. I'm really surprised that I haven't already seen it more often in things like puzzles, but I guess that's because you rarely have a chance to see things like the squirrel in puzzles. This propeller was very obviously skippable. And now we'll see if there's maybe anything else in this segment that we haven't have previously seen. And yeah, Merlin, is quite nice that you were able to stay for this long in today's stream. I'm only back on this more EU-friendly time for a couple weeks while I'm in my current location, and then because for most of 2022 I had been starting much earlier, which was good for the North American viewers, not so good for the EU morning crowd. It's been nice to run these streams again at this hour. A little more comfortable with me. So yeah, I was thinking about this potential skip in terms of going straight down to the dry bones and going left as well. I don't know what we haven't looked at in this zone yet, though, in terms of secrets. So we have seen the top of the flagpole at the very end of the level, but I'm sure that's not what you're actually talking about when it comes to the second secrets placement. I'm guessing I'll probably look for something near the exit, like if you go below in the final area. Whoops. But we'll see. Might also be something buried under one of the drops, but we'll just explore a little bit and take a look. I don't know if you've seen any good video footage of one of the fast runs through this level as well. There have been, of course, some pretty impressive times set on this already, including a current 40-second time, which is way ahead of whatever the record was yesterday. Let's go down. And down. I was definitely looking at the top left there as well. Oh, whoops. And we've checked both ends over here, so it probably is nothing here. Dolphin, if you're talking about my videos, are you talking about my videos or are you talking about the GDQ races? The GDQ races were on Twitch, but they will be uploaded onto YouTube. My videos I just tend to store on Twitch because I haven't really bothered editing them for YouTube yet, and I should eventually. The fast clears, that's what I was asking Calvic. I don't know if the fast clears of this are up anywhere yet, because this level itself has only been uploaded for a few days. And not everybody who has been trying to go for the fast times has a capture card. Let's see. I can take an intentional death here if I go above, which I think I will do because we want to go secrets hunting in this second section. So, oh, except I no longer have the squirrel, so I can't do that, can I? I might actually have to. Oh, yeah, yes we do. If I go back in, I do think I'm trapped in this exit area. Yeah, okay, so we'll go up at top. This section. I did check this area pretty thoroughly previously, I think, and didn't reveal anything here, but we'll try to just take a death and reset here quickly. This death was, I suppose, deliberately placed here for the benefit of the secrets hunters. Yeah, so notice the door that is down below here. It looks like we're going to be looking for a secret area that is going to be in the subworld. Maybe it's accessed through another door, unless there's a double pipe transition. But this door definitely looks like it's supposed to be a reset back to this location. I'm kind of curious about the top left here. Nope, nothing. Well, yeah, I'm glad a death is available past the final pipe transition anyway, so I can actually come back here and check this. But we will be looking for something that connects to either that door or to the red pipe itself. So if it's a pipe transition, it would spit me back out the red pipe, but then the door would be useless. So it's something that's going to lead me to a secret room that then leads me to a door. We may want to watch the pipe drops. Not the pipe drops, the blaster drops carefully. Also, notice this. I think I see it. Saw blade right there. I believe that's overlapping a door. We just need to go down there and hit up. I think I might have been trapped there with a death previously. But... so it looks like a blaster drop location. And instead we're just going to go straight down and go in. Did I really think you would hide it the same way twice? Well, I mean, that's how to make it particularly hidden. Because you can trick out all the people who would expect it only once. Anyway, here's a giant letter K. We've actually seen a lot of these secret letters K in the past in Kavik levels, and so I'm glad we've added another one to the collection. We might as well close this out and get the clear just for the sake of... well, we'll need to wall jump first. Just for the sake of ending this properly. But yeah, the door is a pretty vital clue for what to look for, so I'm glad we checked for that. It's too bad I didn't manage to get that before you told me there were 2 secrets in the level. So normally I would check thoroughly enough to see that, but... anyway, I know that some of the other contributing makers kind of dialed down the usual secrets that they would put in. I, for instance, didn't find a Mang face in Mang's level. I don't know if there is one. I didn't get a chance to ask Mang about that today because that level was first and out of the way very quickly. Anyway, let's get to the top of the flagpole for once. A long way. And yeah, Kavik, I've seen the K many times in the past. I'm just thinking of the placement in your greatest story ever told level, in fact, with the final bit above the flagpole. But thanks for that. We're going to do a second check, by the way, for Dratful, in case Dratful is here. If Dratful is not here, we'll continue with the 2 remaining makers in the queue. Thank you for your patience if you have been waiting. And thank you, Kavik, for coming by and kind of treating us to a very different look at this level than what people would have seen on the GDQ stream previously. Gamer Funny Steve Minecraft, you're almost certainly next, so we'll put you in. And since Stratful is missing the second check, we'll just remove that for now. And yeah, it's sort of in the nature of the relay race levels that you kind of need some additional streams to show off what they look like when you do them slowly. Here's a Dungeon of Rage, a very hard precision-based level. Okay, 1% looks like it might still be reasonable, so we'll try it. Unless, of course, that's skewed by precision experts that you've sent it to previously, so let's see. Look at a star just blinking at me the whole time. And yeah, the one-tile entries are going to be a lot of death here. Okay, I can see why the precision check here is going to be tricky. You're going to find out very quickly, by the way, that I am absolutely not a precision player. This is not the kind of thing I know how to do. But we'll try it, and we'll make the best of it. Maybe if I find the right kind of momentum of falling in... Oh, I don't know. Yeah, you do need to give yourself a little bit of space. You can't hug the wall if you're trying to enter one tile like that, because you'll just fall past. We did actually enter that time, I just didn't react to it very well. So you just need to leave a little bit of diagonal as your entry point. Whoops. Of course, that does require me to make the first jump, which... easier said than done. So yeah, you just need a very clear down diagonal into that slot. There's no other way to do it, as far as I know. Sometimes levels have abnormally high clear rates too, because people who are not good at the core mechanic might give up really early. We'll try to push through it though. Merlin, this doesn't count as a bad habit, this just counts as something that's outside my skill set. These little one-tile entry points here. Oh, that was actually correct, except we flubbed the next one. I mean, I do have plenty of other nasty habits to choose from. We'll see if we can do this. I don't know how the precision expert players even get a hang of this stuff. Maybe just with lots of practice if they manage to repeat this very consistently, but some people are very strong at input consistency, and I don't tend to be. Of course, thinking about the next jump already, it's the equivalent height to the first jump, so mechanically it's the same thing as the first jump. If you look at the spacing, it's 4 tiles wide, 4 tiles up. It's literally the same thing. Except you don't get the benefit of the advanced ceiling that allows you to reposition yourself, because as you can see, I'm just hitting the ceiling here and it allows me to enter fairly cleanly. And if I don't have the benefit of the ceiling going into jump number 3, that's not really going to be as effective. Okay. We'll give this some more attempts. I mean, I feel like I should be able to make the 3rd jump at least. But it might be something that's stylistically not a fit for my skill set. Fortunately. That's okay, we'll try to muddle through some of it. To get better at this, as you can see, we are getting better at it, slowly. Now we need a really good bounce up to that checkpoint. And here's the checkpoint. Yeah, 1%. Surely it can't be that bad. Now, what could this question block possibly be that would be something useful to me? We'll have to find out. And we'll have to find out on the next attempt. Doesn't look like it's something necessary, but I'm trying to think about what it could be. Probably just a 1-up. Maybe. Unless it turns out to be something that's on the necessary path. I'm just going through the items in my head and wondering, what would you even want to pick up there that would allow you to still exit? Maybe the cape. But then you would need to go down low for the feather, rather than capturing it right away. Because it looks like something like a slow float going through all of this might work. Alternatively, we can try to go for this first. And these coins don't look too hard to hit, considering that you can bump against the hard blocks. And then stop. And then fail like that, but then that's not actually a difficult fall, I don't think. You just need to line up properly. It's all about falling at the correct height. So, assuming that I can skip that other block earlier, this is all about doing some lineups then. Okay, this isn't too bad. I would just need to bump the wall here to fall down accurately, or I could check this side. Nothing there, of course. I should have been able to read that earlier, in fact. I suspect those blocks are actually fish, but you never know. That one could be a 1-up, whoops. But yeah, the coin segment here is not too bad. The drop will require me to do a bit of a lineup as I fall into the column, but that shouldn't be too bad either. As long as I land well out of that at the very end. That was bad. I feel like yeah, jumping out of that is actually a good way to do it. You miss. And we'll try this again once the mysterious Murasame Castle has stopped being so mysterious. Yeah, just need to let up on the D-pad right away when you do that. And there's a 1-up. And we continue. Okay, lava doesn't go up or down. We'll just pass through here. See what this is about. Some coins. Alright, now what could this possibly be for? We'll take a helmet. Grab a shell. I guess we'll be bumping around somewhat. Now, why would I possibly want to do that? Okay, do that. We can take this. We can also hit this. This is just a key. Now, that's fine, because would it be more useful to take the trampoline or a shell? I think it would be more useful to take the trampoline. The shell, of course, would allow me to take an additional point of damage. But a trampoline could get me places. Okay. It's not too bad, actually. We can probably just whip these guys. You do need one key. Let's assume it's Junior. Whoops. Okay, let's just go. And, okay, you do need an additional key. There's an additional key. Let's see how many more keys we require after that. None. And that's to clear. Okay, once we made it past the initial hump of those one-tile entries, I actually did make it through. I guess those remaining blocks were just one up, so not really as punishing as I feared. Thankfully, because at least some of the lineups for getting around to spikes were fairly gentle to work around. So considering that I'm really not a precision player, I'm glad we managed to muddle through that, so thanks for that, Gamer Funny Steve Minecraft. Mark that as a win. And if Dolphin is still here, Dolphin will close with you. Dolphin A08. Do let me know if you're still present. I see you on the list. Yeah, there we go. And thank you for your patience, for sticking around so long since you submitted. In fact, the wait times were not as bad as usual for my stream. I tend to go very long on some levels sometimes. And today was relatively acceptable. So do let me know if you have a specific recommendation. I do see that you have a very recent upload. And since you're the last one in the queue, I don't mind doing something a little harder. Because we don't have anybody waiting after you. But yeah, do let me know if you have a specific recommendation that you would like to see. Okay, my choice. Let's see. Let's take a look at some of these descriptions, perhaps. Mountains that went up into the clouds. Destructive duck twirls. Yeah, I don't know if I'll go through something like... Oh, okay. 0.37 and 16 seconds from Mike, who is very technically adept. I think I might do something kind of more medium range, like destructive duck twirls over here. But that's 6 seconds. Wonder. We'll pick something. Yeah, we'll do it. 6 seconds might just be something cheesy, and maybe this is a much lengthier experience than that suggests. Destructive... Ah, okay, duck twirl. I see, I see. Yeah, because I should duck and then twirl, right? If that's something I'm understanding correctly. So I don't run into that. I do need to still jump, that's the thing I'm missing. Yeah, you duck jump and then you twirl. You duck jump. And you try to get off the edge there. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, I'm just not far enough off the edge for that jump to happen. It seems like it's the... that looks like a double twirl, actually. This one over here. You need to be fairly snappy about it for a 4-tile gap. Yeah, this is interesting in that it's an extremely specific kind of technical challenge that just kind of teaches you one thing, which works pretty well. I feel like I need to double tap the twirl a lot better. Oh, you don't think the double twirls are possible? Okay, so it's something else I'm missing. We'll have to think about that. It's not going to be a wall jump off the side, because I don't think... we just need to delay the twirl, I think. We need to get a little further on the duck jump. Make that happen. Yeah, too much of a cooldown on a twirl to make that the solution. Clearly not close enough to the edge on that one either. I'll try to make something of it. Yeah, Merlin, I'm trying to twirl a little later for the 4-tile gap. I'm just losing a little too much height by that point. I'm also not close enough to the edge for the jump itself. Yeah, because I am trying to delay it a little bit, but clearly not functioning. Bit of a late double tap that time, giving me a spin jump off the wall. Yeah, 3 tiles already looked like a bit of a stretch. That's going to be it for the level, though. It's just getting over that last one. You can actually make a 3-block without twirling. Interesting. Yeah, I suppose if you really kind of hold into the ceiling. That might be part of the issue here, is I'm letting go of the jump button prematurely. And kind of thinking about it as a tap jump rather than as something held, when I actually do need to hold into the twirl like that. So, I'm going to break a couple of mechanical habits here as we do the duck jump as cleanly as possible. But if I hold the jump into the twirl button, perhaps that would help. We did manage to make it through that gap previously. Speaking of all the 1-tile entries that we thought we had just escaped. Let's try to make it happen. It feels like I'm late. It's possible that I'm misreading the artwork. I'm actually early, but given where I'm sinking there. We'll see. Conceptually very simple, but mechanically requires some finesse. Dolphin, I don't mind pushing through it a little further. If it looks like I am not quite able to do it, then I'll switch. But as you can see, we are improving, so it makes sense to push a little further. And yeah, Merlin, it is kind of an interesting stress test of what you can do across certain gaps. You can do 4s without ducking, that's interesting. Wouldn't necessarily have thought that. Yeah, because I'm just trying out some things with jumps here. Just to experiment a little bit with each of these gaps and see what we're capable of doing. It's just a matter of getting into the correct rhythm for it. Not quite. But I wasn't exactly going off the edge that time either. We can get back to the last slot somewhat consistently. That'll already be a significant improvement. Yeah, I'm trying to jump a little further and delay what I can, but quite a bit of work to do on that score. Whoops. I mean, if we find a way to cross the biggest gap, if we find the appropriate rhythm for that, the same pattern should apply to all of the other jumps as well. As long as we also manage to launch off the edge. And Merlin, you're going to run off for brunch. Yeah, do enjoy Sunday brunch. Dolphin, we'll give this a couple more attempts, and if it looks like I'm very far from doing it, maybe we'll play something that's a little more level-like, but we are getting a little bit closer, so. Yeah, there is going to be a certain sequence here. When it comes to button presses, which I'm not quite managing to do as accurately as we should, but we'll take a look. Hey, that's looking a lot cleaner. That was close. That was reasonably close. We only activated the one last block that time. I think initially you do have a bit of a slide where you jump, and we should take advantage of the slide momentum, perhaps. Where it's possible that I'm getting into the duck jump quickly. Well, I don't know, because if you're running, slide is going to slow you down, so I think maybe the idea is to have a really tight duck jump rather than a loose one. It's a matter of making the right adjustment to our button sequence too. Really show that off properly. Getting closer. Still not really getting an edge jump there though, which will have to be part of the adjustment we make. It's not just about the spin. Almost there. Nope. Way late. Well, the fact that we're doing the second last gap as often as we can, as often as we are, it's definitely a sign of improvement. There we go. There we go. That wasn't that bad in the end. I mean, I don't know how often I could repeat that, but we managed to do it. I feel like that wasn't really exactly a full-scale level, so, you know, if there's something else that's not too much time involved, we might be able to take a look at that. A lot of Uno Mas concepts as well that we could potentially look at. Actually, just a lot of tech demos. which I suppose if that's what you specialize in, if there's anything in particular that you want to show me, like something like an Uno mouse that's particularly fun, we might be able to just tag one on just for variety from that technical test, or we could just do a level like, I don't know, anything in particular that you have in mind. I don't mind finishing on one last thing before we have to go. This will absolutely be the very last thing, though. Yeah, let me take a look. If it's too hard, that's fine. It just means we won't necessarily finish it. This looks like it's definitely going to be a problem. You see, if you die even once on this, you lower the clear rate. Oh, you mean your newest? Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, your newest one was the one that was like a 0.37. We'll try it, we'll try it. Mario looked up in fear. Hop, spring, and a jump. We'll at least take a look, just to get something that's not just a pure single mechanic test. Oh, I see, it's just going to be shells. Looks like a shell activation here. I guess we need to get within range to drop that guy. Eventually there's going to be a door that's much higher. Oh yeah, I see. It's probably a double then. You up throw, you do a shell jump, you catch. You spring, you do another shell jump on top of that, right? You probably need to land on the spring, like if you do a whole bunch of item juggling. I can tell you right now, this is not the kind of thing that I would do well, but I'm trying to puzzle out what the sequence will be. But it looks like it's going to be an up throw, you do a double shell jump, you do that while... whoops. Like you do an up throw, you do a shell jump, that takes you high enough to land on a spring, and then you may or may not have done the second shell catch by that point. You just juggle the items up in a certain sequence. Double and a spring jump, yeah. No, let's not pop it like that. We need to up throw before the second landing, and then we'll try to shell. I'm absolutely not a shell jump specialist. It's going to be a little bit far. You do a mid-air spring jump. Yeah, this might be a little outside my range. That's okay, I'm glad we took a look. Let's actually just finish with... this is actually definitely outside my range, I can tell you that right now. It might be legitimately very interesting. I will probably not be able to prove it. But I can see why Mike has a record on this. He's a very adept shells player. But looking at the layout, yeah. I can probably count on one hand a number of times I've actually successfully done a double, so this is going to require a lot more practice. Yeah, I don't mind just finishing with just a little Uno Mas to show off the thwomps, and I probably will log off after that, especially because I think my network is starting to choke up again. Yeah, we're usually a little bit flexible about the last item in the queue just to do a little bit of extra padding before we formally take off. So what kind of weird interaction are we going to reveal this time? Let's see. Weird thwomp collision. Oh, I see. So this is just showing off the fact that you're totally safe walking on this, but if you spin jump dead center, you can spin on top. Interesting. That's just the way these collision boxes work, I suppose. Probably not consistently enough to actually be usable in a level, which is unfortunate. It seems like you kind of have to come down a certain angle as well, unless it's just dead center. Yeah, a straight spin jump doesn't seem to work. I feel like you do need to kind of angle your way in and land dead center. Small thwomp you think is consistent. Kind of need to go into it, right? Yeah, you kind of need to go into it and perhaps even let up a little bit. It seems to work better closer to the corner than to the middle, in fact. I can see why this is an Unomas, because it's interesting, but it's also completely impractical. Even in something like a troll level, it just doesn't work consistently enough to be anything practical, but I'm glad you revealed it. That's what an Unomas level is for, so... We're not racing for the 3-second record. Anyway, I do have to take off today, so thank you for all the submissions. Thank you to the patience of everybody in queue. I hope we gave you all some very productive playtests and demonstrations. And we did have some pretty severe technical problems earlier in the stream, but hopefully that was not as bad a distraction as I feared. And most of all, thank you to everybody who came in with Raise Fire, who gave me one of the larger raids that we've received in recent memory and just kind of kept the stream nice and active throughout for several hours. It was kind of a fun double feature today to do both the GDQ levels as well as a kind of abnormally traditional heavy stream as far as the viewer queue is concerned. I'm usually on at this time, but due to some travel, I will not be here next weekend. This is my regular viewer level slot though, so at minimum I will be back in 2 weeks. But we'll try to intersperse some additional Maker streams and other video game streams in the meantime. I still have some stuff I want to do in Cuphead, even though I finished the Delicious Last Course and Bosses. So we might see a little bit more of that, or some other games that I bring in, but I am actually going to be off for a few days next weekend. So that'll be a bit of a patch in our schedule for the time being. If anybody wants to catch up with my schedule as it develops, we do have a Discord associated with this Twitch channel. It's relatively quiet, but I do post all my scheduling information and plans over there. Other than that, we'll look around for somebody to raid. It's a fun weekend. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the various emotes with funny faces, the GGs, the good times. Thanks above all for watching. Stick around if you want to see where your next destination is going to be, but above all, have a great weekend. Happy making, happy playing. Fare thee well.